Okay, explore number 2 from biomes. Um, what are the factors that determine Earth's aquatic biomes? Okay, so it sounds like for Explore 2, we're going to take a dive, no pun intended, into aquatic biomes. You should be thinking, well, that's water. And maybe you even are thinking that there's freshwater and saltwater type of biomes. All right, so let's go ahead and write down the essential question, put the date down. You may want to write down the reference Discovery Education Living Earth 1.4, explore number 2, and hit pause. Tell me what you know, what you think. All right, so I'm hoping you did that. Roman number 1, we're going to go ahead and take this first title. What abiotic factors affect life in aquatic biomes? So there's many things that live in the ocean, whether there be plants, protists, kelp, that kind of stuff, or animals. What are some of the things that they require that are non-living factors, abiotic factors? And you can see I try to break that down for you. A means without or non. Bio means life. Tic, biotic. Tic is like the characteristic of life. So these are our non-living factors. Abiotic. So in your text, it's going to focus on chemical and physical factors. And if you've already done your reading, you may have noticed that they talk about these changes result in vertical stratification. Vertical is like up and down, so you may have the surface of the ocean, and as you go deeper, you start to notice a layering effect. Maybe you've been in a swimming pool and you notice that at the top of the water it felt warm, but as you dove down to the deeper part of the swimming pool, the water got colder. That's what they mean by vertical stratification. And any of these factors can contribute to that. Salinity, how salty the water is. Salt is heavier than fresh water. So you may find that there's a little increase in the saltiness as you get deeper down. pH, which has to do with the number of hydrogen ions in water, how acidic. The more you have of those hydrogen ions, the more acidic you are, and the fewer you have, the more basic you are. And remember, that's measured on a scale of 0 to 14. 7 is neutral, 1 is very acidic, and 14 is very basic. Light, as you are closer to the surface, you have more light. Remember, plants need that light, so most of your photosynthetic organisms are going to be near the surface. As you go deeper, it tends to get darker. And finally, temperature. And we already mentioned that. Warmer around the surface, cooler as you get towards the bottom. Okay, well, let's kind of keep on going here. Light intensity decreases with depth. We talked about that. And the quality of light also changes. That we did not mention. Says that red light is absorbed more rapidly by water than blue light. Okay. What does that mean for us here? Red light is most used in photosynthesis. Okay. If you think about growth plants, you can buy these growth plants and they usually have red LEDs and blue LEDs. If you want your plant to grow, you may want to use more of the red light. If you and you're going to use these different colors for blooming versus vegetative growth. There's a difference there, but um, red light is absorbed more rapidly by water than blue light. I want you to think about that a little bit because when you have aquariums, what color light do they usually have on the top? You're right if you said blue light, because that blue light is able to penetrate quite a bit deeper, right? Just kind of trying to make some connections there for ourselves. Okay, so there are two zones that are recognized between lakes and oceans. Um, there is the photic zone and the aphotic zone. Photic means light, and aphotic, A means without light. So you're going to have a section of your body of water that there's plenty of light and there's going to be a lot of plants growing in there. And then you're going to have a section of a lake or ocean that is pretty dark, very little to no light. And that part would be called your aphotic zone. Okay, thermoclines, the change in temperature from warm to cold. Um, this is where we can draw a sort of line vertically from the surface of your lake or your ocean and draw it downwards and basically map how it gets colder the deeper you go. Okay? Warm water nearest the top, cold towards the bottom. What else can I say? Oxygen and nutrients vary with depth. That is true. They do. The upper layers near the surface contain more dissolved oxygen. It's closer to the atmosphere. The exchange of gases is located in these upper layers, again, because of the water surface interfacing with the atmosphere above. Phytoplankton are located in these upper layers because they require those gases, right? In the water column, the nutrients are scarce because organisms rapidly use up these dissolved nutrients. The lower layers tend to become nutrient rich. And this especially is because you have a lot of dead organisms that sink to the bottom of these bodies of water. So there's a lot of nutrients as they decay. So here we have this picture, a lake, perhaps, or an ocean. This is letter D. And what we're trying to highlight here is as you go deeper towards the bottom, there's a special term for this area. We call it the benthic zone. It's cold, it's dark, it doesn't have much sunlight. Decomposition in this zone may decrease oxygen levels because bacteria need to use oxygen as they decompose organisms. And that in turn causes you to have a lower pH because acid products of decomposition are released. So it tends to be a little more acidic down there. Interesting, huh? Salinity varies with depth. It's saltier as you go down because salt water is denser. Um, Microorganisms play major roles as producers. Um, Mostly your phytoplankton. Remember, these guys are up towards the top of the surface. They tend to get eaten by what we call zooplankton, and in turn, zooplankton tend to be eaten by macro, not micro, macrofauna. We're starting to talk about bigger organisms, say shrimp or crawdads or other small fish. Well, covered a lot there. Okay, all of this was a discussion about aquatic biomes. So go ahead and write down your summary paragraph, and we'll talk to you soon.